From war in close neighbouring regions to cyber attacks and regional instability, Europe is facing unprecedented security challenges. Moscow and Beijing are pursuing an increasingly aggressive foreign policy to advance their interests globally, not only through political and economic means, but also through military force. It is clear that the next decade has to become the decade of European defence, and that is why the EPP Group in the European Parliament advocates for building a true European defence union.
Russia and China are not only increasing defense budget, but also they are increasing very heavily their military production. Russians are able to produce during 6 months so much of military equipment as German army has in their stocks for time being.
Mamy zagrożenie wojenne nie tylko na Bliskim Wschodzie, to stałe miejsce, gdzie grozi konflikt zbrojny, ale także na naszym kontynencie. Od 2 lat mamy wojnę obok nas. Rosja zaatakowała Ukrainę i nie widać końca tego konfliktu. Eskalacja napięcia jest coraz wyższa.
If we look at the situation closer, Europe is like an island, surrounded by instability and threats.
In principle, we have the frontier with the Mediterranean, which should be a space of freedom and of shared prosperity. It is not. We have now a destabilizing factor across the Sahel and across the north of Africa, in which the Russians and the Chinese are taking advantage.
The EPP Group emphasises that a close transatlantic relationship and cooperation with the United States within the framework of NATO remains the cornerstone of our security. Yet it stresses the need for the EU to enhance its own defence capabilities.
NATO is currently too weak for its task. It needs more ammunition, more weaponry, more new capabilities, better military mobility, and EU can build all these. But then we have to remember that we are also challenged by Russia's hybrid warfare, and there NATO doesn't have too many tools to use, but EU has a lot of tools and a lot of capabilities, and EU can build better hybrid defense for Europe.
Investment is key to boosting defense production, stocking up reserves, and to continue helping Ukraine win the war, argue EPP Group MEPs.
Il faut qu'en effet les nations européennes, les pays européens, mettent beaucoup plus d'argent dans leur défense qu'ils ne le font aujourd'hui. Pourquoi? Pour renforcer les capacités en armement et en munitions.
In the last 10 years, Russia and China have increased their defense budgets by nearly 300% and 600% respectively. In contrast, the EU member states increased their defence spending by only 20%.
We need to find the ways how to spend both on a national level, on European level, enough of funds in order to show to Putin and to any kind of other adversaries to European Union that we are ready, and they should not try to provoke or to start any kind of military aggressions against any EU member state or NATO member state.
It is important to spend more, but equally important to spend wisely. Now, EU member states procure 78% of their military equipment from non-EU sources.
We need to increase our defense budget as well, but we also need to work in common procurement. So we need to have also the money that is spent in defense, that is invested in our defense, in a way that we work together more. In such a way, we will be spending the taxpayers' money in a way that we will increase the European industrial base.
Addressing military spending is just one piece of the jigsaw. Europe also needs to invest in defense technology in the future.
On voit aujourd'hui qu'il y a un vrai écart, un véritable écart entre ce que font les États-Unis et ce que font les Européens. Il faut savoir que s'il y avait une guerre qui se déclenchait aujourd'hui, 80% des matériels utilisés dans le domaine de l'intelligence artificielle, du cyber et de l'espace proviendraient des États-Unis. Or, il faut se poser la question, un jour, si les États-Unis se retiraient, que deviendraient les pays européens?
The EPP Group wants to develop the European Defence Union to reduce reliance on external powers and protect its citizens more effectively.
When we talk about the European autonomy, we have to take into account that it's not a closed concept, but an open one, which incorporates not only military and defense elements, but also the security of the supply chain concerning food, medicaments, energy, and so on and so forth.
Another way to improve Europe's safety is to ensure stability at the continent's borders. For this, continued support for Ukraine is crucial.
Russia is attacking Ukraine, killing soldiers, civilians, children, old people, and the Ukrainians have been living under this almost for 3 years. So if they are not tired defending themselves, we can't be tired of supporting Ukraine. We have to continue supporting.
Those who would like to weaken the European Union try to derail the European path of candidate countries, such as in the case of the Western Balkans. And that's why the EU should have its own strategy that is linked to the enlargement process.
We need to have a gradual approach, so we can include the candidate countries from the Western Balkans in some of the EU's programs, including, of course, in the developing of the European Defence Union.
Tectonic shifts in the geopolitical and security landscape are threatening our security. But there is a lot that we can do.
Europa powinna wziąć bezpieczeństwo w swoje ręce. Wspólna Europa, wspólne bezpieczeństwo. Ten wspólny projekt powinien zagwarantować nam poczucie bezpieczeństwa wśród naszych obywateli.